All right, welcome to The Explainer. Let's start with a big question. What if our reality isn't the real one? Today, we're diving into this mind-bending sci-fi short story called Heresy. It pictures our universe as, get this, a kind of cosmic school, just a temporary stop for souls on a much, much bigger journey. So yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, so the story kicks off with this really powerful quote. And honestly, the whole thing really boils down to this one idea. Our senses can be tricked, right? Our bodies can be trapped, but the mind is the only thing that's truly free. This is the theme, the big idea that's going to guide us through this whole wild ride into consciousness and reality.
So where do we start? Well, our story doesn't begin with a person, not really. It starts with a visitor, a being made of pure thought, pure consciousness, and it's just crash-landed. But it's not some cool, pristine alien planet. Nope. It's a garbage-strewn wasteland on a future Earth that's been long forgotten.
And this being is just reeling. I mean, can you imagine? It's from a place called the Pleroma, a non-physical dimension of pure thought. And then bam! Some weird etheric fluctuation shoves it into our reality. For the very first time, it feels gravity, that crushing weight, and it's absolutely terrifying.
And to make things worse, the ship's AI just calmly confirms where they are. They're in the universe of Yaldabaoth. Now, for this being of light, that name is just a story, a myth, a Gnostic legend about a flawed, kind of junior god who made this imperfect material world. And now, that fairy tale is its prison.
Okay, so you're a being of pure thought, stuck in a physical world. How do you even begin to explore? Well, to deal with the aborigines, which is what the AI calls us, by the way, it does something totally radical. It creates a biological avatar, a perfect human body, and it names this clone Dennis. So Dennis can go out and be its eyes and ears, while the real consciousness stays safe back in the ship. Smart.
And the second Dennis steps out of that crater, he gets hit with the single most defining thing about us humans, our bizarre, confusing duality. It doesn't take him long to figure out that humanity is basically a species at war with itself.
And here's the first huge shock for him. See, Dennis can read thoughts, so he instantly sees this massive canyon between what people say and what they're actually thinking. This Colonel Yarmolenko, he gives this nice, polite welcome, right? But inside his head, it's all suspicion and how can I use this situation? It's a total disconnect.
So Dennis's mind just scans all our global data, and what he finds is, well, it's just bewildering. From his point of view, our entire society is built on these random, arbitrary rules. We took one planet and chopped it up into things called countries. We built these weird, parasitic systems to govern ourselves, and we have endless laws about a god that, honestly, nobody seems to know anything about. It makes no sense to him.
But out of all of these contradictions, there's one that just completely blows his logical, alien mind. So what do you think is the biggest human duality of all?
It's the whole man-woman thing. To Dennis, it's like watching two totally different civilizations trying to live on the same planet. He picks up the men's thoughts about this woman, Snezana, and they're super direct, almost primal. But her thoughts? Oh man. They're this complex web of hints and layered intentions. She never just says what she means. This massive communication gap is just astounding to him.
All right, so this is where we get to the real meat of the story's philosophy. Let's see how all this weird human behavior builds up to a pretty cosmic explanation.
So, Dennis finds out he's in a universe that was made by a lesser god, an imperfect one. In old Gnostic texts, this being is called the Demiurge, or Yaldabaoth. And this guy is basically a jealous creator who actively hides the truth about the real, higher god from all the souls stuck in his material world.
And that is the complete opposite of where Dennis is from, a place called the Pleroma. Think of the Pleroma as a realm of pure thought, total unity. Everyone there has a direct line to the Absolute, the true God. There's no fight, no pain, no contradictions. It's perfect.
And this is where the story just drops its biggest secret. This powerful being, the Duke, he explains that our reality, it's not a prison, it's a school. He says that when a soul back in the Pleroma has a question so deep that words can't answer it, it chooses to come here. It literally volunteers to be born into our material world to find the answer for itself through real, messy, hard-won experience.
So let that sink in. The big takeaway here is that all the struggle, all the pain,
All the crazy contradictions of our world, none of it is a punishment. It's a curriculum. It's a path that we, our souls, chose on purpose for our own growth, all to answer a question that we ourselves came up with.
Okay, so that brings us to the final puzzle, right? Dennis didn't have a question. He already finished his cycle. So if he's not here to learn something for himself, why in the world was he sent to this chaotic place? And then he gets this super cryptic clue from a mysterious old man. Maybe it's a vision, maybe it's something else entirely, who knows? But the message just flips his whole perspective. It makes him stop thinking about some cosmic escape plan and instead look at the very beginning of physical life.
And then it just clicks. He gets it. The entrance into this material world isn't some sci-fi portal, it's birth. The answer isn't about escaping, it's about creating. And he realizes his true mission has everything to do with Snezana, that first woman he met.
So Dennis figures it out. His job isn't to bust out of here, it's to change this world from the inside out. He has to implant a piece of his own higher consciousness, his own essence, to become the soul of Snezana's child. That way, this new being can grow up and inspire change without wrecking the whole school system that other souls still need.
So he tells Snezana his unbelievable plan. A part of him, his actual consciousness, is going to become her child. He'll be born into this world with a mission from the very first breath he takes. The only way to help humanity, he realizes, is to first become human.
And that's where heresy leaves us, with this really provocative thought that reframes our entire lives, all our struggles, all our wins. Maybe they're not just random chance. Maybe it's all part of a deliberate journey for knowledge, a journey that we, ourselves, chose to take a long, long time ago.